In this video, I want to talk about the one shift that makes selling easy and effortless. Because when the problem feels urgent, the yes takes care of itself. So the most important truth in sales is very simple. It's not complicated. Whenever we want to make sales too complicated, we are actually having a problem. People do not buy because you have a great product. Now, I know that if you are a business owner and entrepreneur, you fall in love with your product. I have done the same thing. I've spent months preparing a product launch and was so excited about the product and thought that people were just waiting for it. But the truth is, people buy because they feel a need and not because of your great product, unless your product fills that need. Now, one of the best examples of building the need is actually Henry Ford. He's often not known for this, but if you really study his life and how he actually launched the Model T, he was not talking about the features of this great car. He began by exploring really and talking about the problem. Travel was slow, horses became tired, families were stuck in one place, businesses were limited by distance and basically daylight, couldn't travel at night. He made people feel the frustration of the old system. He was a master of having people feel that there is a problem. So basically it created an urgency that people wanted a solution. He did not sell basically the engine. He did not sell his great car. He sold the problem. He made sure that there was a need for his product. He sold the pain of slow movement. Then he painted the future. So he created the need of really people understanding that the traveling with horses is not the best way, and then he painted a future of what it could look like to actually travel with a car, so that families could travel freely, business reaching new cities, workers accessing new opportunities. We're not stuck in one location, a country connected in ways people had never imagined. That was his dream. And only after the need was clear did he actually introduce the car. Now, I have done this mistake so many times that I start with the car and think that people already want what I basically sell as a product rather than increasing the need. Now, Ford did not sell the automobile, he sold freedom and possibility, and people bought because he felt basically that the need would increase before he ever gave them the solution. And basically this is the power of building the need, that people want your product because you actually solve their internal need. You help people see the cost basically of staying the same and the value of changing. So it's not hard selling, it's actually helping people understanding that they have a desire that your product can fill. So what is the need of your prospect? That is the real questions. And it's not what you think most of the time. The need they feel is what is the real need, not the need that you think they feel, the need they want to solve right now. And I've been so often surprised when I ask people why they want the product that I'm selling, and I thought I had an answer, but their answer was different. And it's not about me convincing them about my answer, it's actually feeding into their desire, into their need, so that they then want the product. If you do not establish the need, nothing else matters. Let me say that again. If you do not establish the need and the urgency that they need this, nothing else matters. Now, why do we rush into solution? Business owners love what they build, okay? So the moment someone shows interest, they jump straight into showing them the features and the benefits and the plan. As soon as we realize that somebody wants what we sell and they show some interest, we jump into all the great features, all of what makes our product even maybe better than the competition. But basically we should have focused in what actually is their real interest, the real need. They talk about the solution as if clients already kind of are ready to receive it. But if the pain is not clear, the solution just feels optional. And so if you have been in sales conversations and at the end people were often saying, okay, let me think about that, that is a clear indicator that we have not made sure that the need is high enough for people to say, oh yes, I now I remember why I wanted to have this conversation. And that's your job, basically, if you are selling your product. And I believe that every business owner in the end has to be somebody who sells their product. Even if you have their products, even if you have a great sales team, it is still your responsibility. If the consequences are not clear, the timing feels flexible. So if we have not in the conversation made sure that there are basically consequences, if you are not fulfilling this need, that there are consequences in the future, that either life is going to go not as good as you want it to be, or it's going to get worse than if nothing changes in your situation. Basically, there is no urgency in wanting to buy. If the need is not clear, the buyer has no reason to act. Basically, they will say, let me think about it. Now, most sales conversations lose momentum because the business owner moves too quickly into wanting to solve, basically, not solve their problem, but actually introduce their product as the great solution. So there are three awareness stages that you've maybe heard of. There's number one, the problem awareness stage. Okay, a person knows something is not working. They feel limited and frustrated or at risk, but they cannot fully name it. So they are still problem aware. Now, in the second stage, basically, they are solution aware, so that they realize I have a problem, but there is a solution out there. And then the third phase is that they are actually product aware. So they know they have a problem, they know there is a solution, and they know that maybe your product can actually solve their problem. Now here's the mistake that we make so often. As business owners, we so often jump into the product awareness phase and don't spend enough time in the problem and the solution awareness phase. Okay, so the business owners speak often only in the third stage rather than the first two. So they pitch too early, they assume people are ready, and they skip the deeper question, emotional drivers and consequence of waiting. They need to build that if you want that people basically want to buy. So it's not about chasing clients, it's about guiding them into their desire. So what it means to build the need. Building the need is not manipulation, it's really helping them with clarity. It means helping someone understand what is happening right now. Why does it matter? What is it costing you right now? How does the future look if nothing changes? What becomes possible if you take action? You do this through language, questioning and visualization. Basically, questions like, what do you feel like why do you feel like this needs to change? You pace your question, so you give them really room to answer it. What happens if nothing changes in your life? And they give you an answer. How long has been an issue for you? And they realize, wow, I've been carrying this way too long. What's the cost financially or emotionally if nothing changes? If we solve this, what would your life or your business look like? This is kind of future pacing into how the future could look like. You basically are starting to build this emotional urgency that people realize, okay, this is not about the product, it's about the problem that I am feeling right now, that now I have hope that your product would actually solve. So this basically brings awareness, and you don't have to use all of these questions, but some of these questions one by one, going deeper into the phase, depending also, of course, of your sales cycle. So you turn vague discomfort into a real motivation. So I maybe want to just have a conversation with you, but then I realize that as a salesperson, my job is to really help you identify even more the problem that you have and that there is a solution. So questions that basically open the need. What is the difference between where you are and where you want to be? And people tell you, what is the real cost of not changing? Why does this matter to you now? And why does it matter to you personally? And why now? People kind of at the end don't tell you, okay, let me think about it, maybe I'll come back in a few months. When you tell them, ask them, Why now? Why do you want to change this now? They actually, you put them into a frame where they say, oh, you know what? I can't use that excuse at the end because I just answered it that this is right now the right time. If there were a solution, how would your future would look different? When you establish the problem, you can basically future pay. So you don't just want to be kind of sit in the problem the whole time. You actually want to help them create a future that looks bright because they've solved their problem. Okay, so these questions do not pressure anyone. It's not about pressuring at all. That's all kind of old school selling that has made selling such a bad rap. Selling is really guiding people and bringing clarity of what they want. And then you can ethically assess if your product actually solved that question or if it doesn't. So you want to bring them into this future frame. Once someone understands their current pain, guide them towards the future. Not with big promises. It's not just about prayer promising, yes, we solve everything and everything will be different. No, not with exaggeration or outcomes that are not going to be happening or becoming a reality through your product. By simply a question, if this problem was solved, what becomes possible for you? Now, this is where basically the desire starts to grow in them to actually do something about this problem. This is where action starts to begin. This is where clients become ready to then commit and also to buy your product. People move when they can imagine a better future. Now, some people, you know, they just want to make them feel as bad as possible because of the pain or because of the problem they have. I really believe, yes, you have to create the awareness that there is an actual problem. And if you change nothing, basically we have a big problem. That's why I also believe that if you have a product that solves a real need, you have an ethical responsibility of actually doing everything in your power through the right questions, through guiding them in a conversation to help them buy your product, because you actually are bringing change to them that is positive, because your product or your service is actually helping them and solve a real need. It's not about talk louder. They buy because they have a picture of their problem solved, and this becomes their clarity and their vision of how they want to move forward. So, closing reflections. If you want to improve your marketing and your sales, slow down. Spend time and sit with your prospect in the need. Help people understand the true cost of staying the same. Help them see the future they are going to move forwards or towards, and that creates basically an urgency of wanting to buy. The better you are building the need, the easier the sale becomes. It becomes so natural. That's why I called this video the one shift that actually makes selling easy and effortless. Because if you shift from just being so product focused and actually become focused on helping them in their need, giving a language to what they actually want, and then showing how the better future is possible, how hope basically becomes then their motivation to believe that your product can actually solve their pain and their problem. Not because you push harder, but because the client became more aware of their own reasons to say yes. It's such an important concept to actually increase the need. And if you transcribe your sales call, just put your sales call to ChatGPT or any other language model that you're using and ask, how am I building the need? How could I have built the need better? And I also have this document that you can download. If you click the link below, you can download this PDF, because I have some good powerful reflection questions that you can actually go through to help you build that need. Because if you become better at sales, basically, because it's simpler and easier, you are one step closer in building a self-managing business, and that's what this channel is all about. But right now, let's work on really applying this to your situation. So get the document and work through the reflection questions, so you're one step closer of building a self-managing business.